A study by a Saudi research center has found that Millennial Jihadi fighters are not interested in suicide missions. The 40-page study found that the new generation of Saudi militants are relatively well educated. It also found they are not driven purely by religious ideology and show little interest in suicide missions. The study, published by the King Faisal Center for Research and Islamic Studies in conjunction with the International Center for the Study of Radicalisation, looked at 759 Saudi recruits who joined the Islamic State group mostly between 2013 and 2014. The Saudi Interior Ministry previously said that 2,500 Saudis had gone to Syria in the years before the kingdom criminalized fighting abroad in early 2014, roughly a third the number of Saudis who fought in Syria. The data was drawn from leaked Islamic State group entry documents.The. Saudi Interior Ministry previously said that 2,500 Saudis had gone to Syria in the years before the kingdom criminalized fighting abroad in early 2014. Only Tunisia sent more foreign fighters. Later, the United Kingdom and Kuwair was the target of numerous IS attacks that killed dozens of people. Researcher Abdullah bin Khaled Al-Saud said the fighters were neither loners nor social outcasts, but appear to have been motivated by the heightened sectarianism that began to color the 2011 Syrian revolution as it slid into armed conflict. He said the turning point came when the Shiite Hezbollah group joined the conflict in May 2013 to defend the Syrian government against their mostly Sunni Muslim resistance. That actually was the point when the first wave of Saudis traveling to Syria started to happen, Al-Saud told the Associated Press. So, I think instability, war and violence certainly plays a major role when it comes to the specific Saudi context. Other analysis from Associated Press found that issues of disenfranchisement, poverty and criminal pasts factored heavily in as fighters hailing from European countries like France, Belgium and the UK. A study on 3,000 leaked IS documents found that most of the recruits hailed from a range of nationalities, and around 70% had only basic knowledge of Islam, the lowest possible choice on the forms. The Saudi study released this week found little more than half of Saudi recruits said they had basic knowledge of Islam. Much of the rest claimed to have intermediate and advanced religious knowledge. This was somewhat expected, because all Saudi students are given religious education in schools, according to the study. The report stated, still, the Saudi contingent's religious fluency should not be exaggerated. 58% of Saudi fighters acknowledged that they had only basic knowledge of the religion of Islam, and only 8% claimed to be knowledge seekers. Unlike fighters from Europe, where many were high school dropouts or unemployed, the Saudi recruits were relatively well educated. Close to 340 had a high school level education, around 60 had a diploma of some kind, close to 120 had university degrees and 5 held postgraduate degrees. This data demonstrates that the Saudi contingent does not consist of educational underachievers, which can lead to the argument that they were not lacking in socio-economic opportunities, the study said. The report states education does not necessarily equate with job opportunities, and a sense of relative deprivation may still be relevant. Of those spoken to for the Saudi study, 15% stated they were unemployed. Out of those who were employed, 50 had been in the Saudi military or police, and 36 were either members of the religious police, imams at mosques, or considered themselves to be religious preachers. Half of the Saudi recruits in this sampling were 20-24 years old, and 22% were 25-29 years old. Only 13% were over age 30, and 15% were under 19 years old, with the youngest just 9 years old. Share this article. Share. The overwhelming majority, at 73%, were single. Just 18% were listed as married, with the rest unknown. Additionally, the overwhelming majority of these recruits, or 625, volunteered to be fighters. Just 9%, or 71, signed up to be suicide bombers. Al-Saud said this suggests the recruits wanted to contribute to this exciting project of a caliphate that had promised a life more rewarding than death. Unlike in previous decades of Saudi jihadi recruitment, this latest wave saw the highest ratio of Saudi fighters per the region's population from the landlocked ultra-conservative province of Qasim, north of Riyadh. The largest numbers of Saudi recruits, more than a third, came from Riyadh, where 262 fighters of the total 759 originated. The next were Qasim and Mecca province, at 134 fighters each.